Let's explore module.exports in Node.js. This video will cover how to export functions and objects from Node.js modules. We'll discuss how module.exports allows you to export functions and objects, enabling module communication within your Node.js applications. So, what exactly is module.exports? In Node.js, module.exports is a special object. It determines what a module exports and makes available for use in other modules. By default, module.export starts as an empty object. For example, if you were to log module.exports to the console, you would simply see an empty set of curly braces. Let's examine how to export a single function using module.exports. Consider a file named math.js. Inside math.js, we define a function called add, which takes two arguments, a and b, and returns their sum. To export this function, we assign it to module.exports. Then, in app.js, to use the exported function, we require the math.js module and assign the result to a constant named add. Now we can use the add function from math.js. For example, calling add with arguments 5 and 3 will return 8. Now let's see how to export multiple functions. Imagine we have a file named calculator.js. This file contains two functions, add, which adds two numbers, and subtract, which subtracts two numbers. To export both functions, we assign an object containing these functions to module.exports. In app.js, we can then require calculator.js and use destructuring to extract the add and subtract functions. After this, we can easily call these functions. For instance, add with 10 and 5 returns 15, and subtract with 10 and 5 returns 5. Let's explore how to export objects using module.exports. Suppose we have a file named user.js. In this file, we define a user object with properties like name, set to John Doe, age, set to 30, and a greet method that returns a greeting string including the user's name. To export this user object, we assign it to module.exports. Then, in app.js, we require the user.js module, assigning the result to a constant named user. Now we can access the object properties. For example, user.name will output John Doe, and calling user.greet will output hello John Doe. Let's discuss adding properties directly to module.exports. In utils.js, instead of assigning a single object, we can add functions and values individually to module.exports. Here we add an add function, a multiply function, and a constant called pi, assigning it the value 3.14159. In app.js, after requiring utils.js, we can access these properties directly from the utils object. For example, utils.add with arguments 2 and 3 returns 5, and utils.up returns 3.14159. Now let's clarify the difference between exports and module.exports. Exports is a shorthand for module.exports. When using exports, we are essentially adding properties to the object that module.exports initially points to. On the left, using exports, we add a greet function and a version property to exports. On the right, using module.exports, we directly assign a new object containing the greet function and a version property. It's crucial to understand that assigning a new value to module exports will override anything assigned to exports. Here's a summary of best practices. Use module.exports for direct assignment of functions or objects. This is typically preferred when you want to export a single value or a new object. Use exports for adding properties to the export object. This is handy when you are incrementally building up the export interface. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit CodeLucky.com for more such useful content.